Knowing your path is knowing your soul. Defining your path is defining your soul purpose. Welcome to the Define Your Path podcast show.
Hello, faithful, and welcome to the Define Your Path podcast show with DocV. I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc Shazad, affectionately DocV, the Pivot Maestro, here to power your soul pivot. It is my pleasure to be your corner woman here on DYP. We have a show for you today. You don't want to miss this. This show, it's a place where we are all about helping you face your fears, to love the skin you're in, while lifting you into that possibility mindset to serve, profit, and sustain in life and business. If you found yourself here, it's for a reason. It's on purpose. There's no such thing as happenstance. You are here for a reason. And we speak to the souls of purpose-driven business owners, divergent thinkers, intuitives, especially those of you feeling a soul summons to stop straddling that fence, which is snuffing out your soul. You feel it, don't you? I know I did. We are here to tell you that you do have a soul purpose, and that is a better way to live a fulfilled quality life, right, on your own terms. So it's time to think without that box, and my guest today is going to help you with that. Boy, is she. It's time to pivot. It's time that we just embrace our calling, what we are meant to do in this life. And at Defining Paths International, we are all about exposing you to the global thought leaders, change agents, legacy builders across trades, generations, and all of that good stuff, and even continents. So, this platform is all about their story. So this is their spotlight of how they've overcome their mind, body, soul, business journey. So it's intended for you to see yourself through them, through the guests. If we can do it, you can do it. I promise you it. But it all starts with you. Find your willpower, find your strength. Do you hear that soul call? Asking, will you be the captain of your fate and the master of your soul? So here to help you with that today is our spotlight, Akary Busto. Let me tell you a little bit about Akary before I bring her up and give her the spotlight. Akary Busto is an emotional biohacker, nervous system specialist, and trauma-informed quantum human design guide. Powerful stuff, folks. She helps women move from burnout to embodied balance through a science meets soul approach that integrates HeartMath techniques. How many of you have heard about that? Breathwork and human design. As the founder of Uhkare Mind Body Soul, Akary has guided hundreds of women to rewire their nervous systems, transform emotional patterns, and reclaim self-trust. Her work, it bridges the gap between emotional intelligence and somatic healing, empowering women to feel safe in their bodies and aligned in their purpose. She's known for her grounded wisdom and relatable teaching style. And Akary blends neuroscience, energy awareness, and feminine embodiment to help women reset, reclaim, and remember who they are beneath that survival mode, right? So I've been there. Guys, let me tell you, you are in for a treat. Not only do you have someone who is just so soul connected and grounded, but she's super intelligent, funny, and just an all-around amazing woman. Akary, welcome to the show.
Man, I'm going to need you for every event. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for such a lovely introduction. I'm just like, ooh, I want to meet her.
Girl, I got you. Girl, we look so forward to hearing your story of how you've embraced those fears, how you've made them your ally, and found the true you, to walk in your soul's purpose, like so many women are trying to do now, so many people, but especially women, because this is our time. We are called for this exact time. So we love to keep it simple here on DYP. We only ask you 2 questions and we flow through those 2 questions. So the first being, how have you defined your path? And the second, how do you help others define theirs? So let's start with, how have you defined your path, Akary? And you have the spotlight.
Thank you. So how do I define my path? I think that from the victim place, I could have said, why me? And now I actually look at my path and I say, yes, it was for me, because by going through all of the adverse challenges in my life, it is
Yeah.
how I can relate to women, right? Because there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And having that wisdom is the piece that really helps me relate to you. It is
Yes.
having that desire to recognize how much we have in common versus not, right? Because a lot of the
Right.
polarities try to separate us. But when we really look at our biology, we start to recognize that we all have cells, we all have little mitochondria, we all have all of these little things, right? That to
Right.
the core make us and grounds us in our humanity.
Yes.
So when I look at my path and I look at the hardships that I've had to overcome, I have learned that just because I can doesn't mean that
Ooh.
everyone can.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest, like, mind-blowing things that I've ever heard someone say in humility was Oprah, right?
Mm.
When she said, well, I did this and look what I built. And then she goes to South Africa to help all of these girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them just couldn't get out of that trauma loop.
Yes.
That was what was missing. It is
Mm-hmm.
the nervous system work that is
Yes.
missing in so many coaching dynamics. You know,
Yes.
you hear about the coaching industry and how terrible it is. It's because we don't understand the nervous system.
Yes.
And that's what
That's so
makes my
good.
path so different than anyone else's, because I have really put myself through a lot of different healing modalities. The first one that I feel like really changed my life was betrayal trauma.
Mm.
Because
Ooh, do talk.
betrayal trauma, because betrayal trauma is
Yeah.
unlike any other trauma. And the way the industry looks at it and works with it is
Yeah.
not the same way as regular therapy, which it should be. So that
Mm.
model itself is
Mm-hmm.
really the model that should be utilized universal, you know, because it does address a lot of trauma-informed spaces that are
Mm-hmm.
not in existence in regular therapy.
Mm.
And when we
Interesting.
look at betrayal trauma, we look at just simple, look at colonialism
Yeah.
and how
That's a
we were
huge one.
yeah, and how we were betrayed, right?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is the first betrayal decades and decades ago that continues to show up in our families. And then we
Yes.
get betrayed by our parents, you know, for whatever circumstances happen. And then we
Mm-hmm.
learn to betray ourselves. And by betraying ourselves, we give others permission
To
to
betray
betray.
us. Wow.
Yeah.
Girl, that is so powerful. Yeah, keep speaking,
And
please.
so when we start to look at when we start looking at trauma and we look at that betrayal piece, I have a great friend of mine, Dr. Debbie Silber, who actually started to look at post-betrayal trauma. The reason why women get stuck in the world is because there was betrayal trauma and you didn't take care of it.
Right.
So
Yes.
even though you're not in that betrayal, there is that post-betrayal trauma that shows up in different trauma loops, eating
Mm-hmm.
disorders, anxiety, fatigue, and then you add into that, you know, the cycle of life that you're in. So if you're in that perimenopausal stage, maybe you're not having hot flashes, but now you're having anxiety. And you
Mm.
don't know where the root cause of this is. And so it all starts in the nervous system.
Girl, look, I mean, that was such a mouthful and so powerful. I don't even know where to start on that, but I guess the obvious, betrayal,
Yeah.
because there betrayal, like all the way back to colonialism, which societies were built on. So I'm gonna love to deep dive on that part with you in candid conversations, but I don't want to get too far down that rabbit hole. But like these successive betrayals that happen and are being lodged into our subconscious and we don't even realize it or understand it. Was there something that happened in your life that caused you to look more toward this path, or that put you on this path of the work that you do?
as my life has moved through, right? I've had several betrayals. My
Yeah.
parents, right? My father abandoned us, right? When I wasn't even born yet. So he kind of just flew the coop and abandoned me and my mother. So I was raised by my grandparents.
Mm.
Then I'm originally from Mexico City. So when my mother decided, her mother, as we talked about, was from El Paso.
Yes.
So she immediately got her citizenship, and then I, had to get all my paperwork done. So migrating from a place of safety to a place where I didn't know anyone, I didn't know the language, the culture. And granted, I was tiny, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, that was the biggest betrayal ever because I was taken from my safety.
Yeah.
And so when I go backwards, even with my clients, because there's a root to all of this, what I have really learned about this is sometimes I feel like we tend to say, oh yeah, in a past life I must have done this. And I'm actually thinking, wow, what is in my DNA, right? From my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother, because there's a maternal haplogroup that takes you backwards if you're into
Mm-hmm.
the DNA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I traced it, and it leads back to these indigenous communities. So my maternal haplogroup is just indigenous,
Mm.
migrating people. And so when I started looking at that, it just made me
Mm-hmm.
very curious around the things that have taken taken up space and time through the colonialism perspective, and how
Right.
much of that we have lost because my it's not that far removed. My great grandmother was, half Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
half indigenous. So her father
Mm-hmm.
was from Spain and her mother was
Yes.
indigenous. So it's not that even far removed. But
Right.
to see how in Mexico that has shifted, where the darker skin you are, the less everything you are. And
Yes.
so that was very impactful for me because as I started learning about family constellations and learning about the energy that is not welcome in the tribe, then
Mm-hmm.
that's the energy that surges in a family group. And I feel like that is who I represent. So I represent that we will not talk about, that will not be shown.
Yes. Wow.
So really like stepping into that energy, it's been really difficult because I've always been the odd man out, and then learning about human design and learning my individual circuitry and my collective circuitry, which means that I am here to be a pioneer and I'm also
Mm-hmm.
here to work with the collective energy. And it
Mm-hmm.
has manifested so beautifully in my whole entire life. I'm the one who was really excited about feminism. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, have you heard? You women, like, what is your deal? Why are you putting up with this? What is this whole thing? And I was the one who was marginalized because now I'm the one who's disrupting the peace,
Yes.
silenced. And
Yeah.
so it has taken a lot of time for me to make amends with that and be okay with it. Be okay
Mm.
with not being understood because it's not convenient. Because
Mm.
when it is convenient and they need me,
Yeah.
I'm the first one to get sought out. Like, hey, show us what you're doing. What is that witchy thing that came up? And it's like, what do you mean witchy? Like, this is all like basic stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So you were able through your own personal experience to just the curiosity started to grow in you, and that was a seed and obviously a part of your path. But you were able to embrace that fear, make it your ally, and just be okay with it through just learning how to regulate your nervous system.
Yeah, I think the biggest fear that we have as a group, right, is the annihilation from the family. That's the biggest
Yeah.
fear. And
Yeah.
so I stepped into that. I was like, really? Pfft, annihilate me. I mean, go for it.
Girl.
And
Yeah.
it took a lot of courage, but at the end of the day,
Yes.
the moment I removed myself from that, I was
Yeah.
really able to heal because you cannot heal when
Mm.
you're living in that same toxicity.
And that meant absolutely.
And so removing myself from all of that has allowed me to step into my own power because what are you going to do? Not
Yes.
talk to me?
Right.
Okay, thank
Right.
you. I don't have to remove you. You have removed yourself. And that's how I
Yes.
look at it. I'm not meant for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Wow. No, I love it. I love it. So, through your experience, you also felt a calling to start your business. So, let's pivot in and kind of get into that second question, and then we'll
I
just go
like
around
that
that.
question.
How do you help people define their path?
Well, so here's the thing. When we go see a doctor or a specialist, we're
Mhm.
looking at one thing only. So, you and I
Mm.
have that same vision. It's like mind, body, and soul.
Right.
I focus a lot on the body
Mm.
because if the body isn't running, if the body doesn't have movement, if the body's, stagnant, the mind and the soul are like floating around.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right? And so I work through the nervous system, through quantum human design, to empower you to fall in love with who you are. The shadow
Mm.
part of who we are is so loud. It's always yak, 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 yak,
Yeah.
the little voice. You're
Right.
never good enough. You're never
Right.
going to do this. You never finish things, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's that shadow. So I love to journey people through this initiation from that
Hmm.
shadow part of who you are to the highest expression of who you can be through the
Yes.
quantum mechanics of human design.
Mm. I love it. And girl, look, because I know that was a mouthful. So, audience, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop in your questions, drop in your comments, because I know you have them. But I mean, that's like literally a mouthful. Like, what is for I don't know, what do you want to attack first? Like, what is human design? What is the quantum mechanics related to that? Because I know these questions are
Yeah.
circulating.
So let's break it into pieces. So we have traditional human design, which was created in the 80s. It was it interestingly enough, in the 80s, this Canadian guy is having like he's in Belize and he's just like downloading all this information. Scientifically, at the time, we had not discovered these. I will, for simplification, I'll call them like little solar flares, right?
Hmm.
And it was later that the scientific community was like, oh yeah, they do exist, right? And so what happens is that there were these bunch of solar flares, and a lot of us just got a lot of downloads in the 80s if we were around. And it is so interesting because we can see them in the generations, right? That's why we call them, Gen X and Gen Z and
Yeah.
millennials. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so it's such a like you don't stop to think. It's a phenomena. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
across the globe. We don't just
Yeah.
call a baby boomer in America. We can actually see them in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what human design is essentially is five different systems, esoteric systems from, you know, 3,000 years ago. So we have
Yeah.
the Chinese Book of Wisdom, which is the I Ching,
Okay.
the Tree of Life, which is the Kabbalah, right?
Hmm.
Judaism.
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
looking at the Eastern and Western astrology. We're
Hmm.
looking at the chakra system, the Hindu chakra system. And then
Hmm.
we're looking to make things even more complicated is quantum physics.
Just throw it all in there.
Just blend it in. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of the woo, a little bit of the science combined, right? And the
Yeah.
quantum piece is just that there's so many possibilities. And so
Yes.
human design is meant to be an experiment where you get
Mm.
to experiment what works for you and let
Yes.
go of what doesn't because we've been conditioned to
Mm.
be what we're not.
Absolutely.
So we've heard it from, the arrogance of our elders looking at us and saying, wow, you'd be a great teacher. And we're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. Or, my favorite, like, you should be a nurse.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And some of us are more susceptible than others, right? Based
Yeah.
off of our human design, because the more defined you are, the less people can
Mm.
hook you. The more open you
Yes.
are, the more you're open to these ideas because you don't know if it's yours or if it's
Yeah.
someone else's energy coming in. And so it's
Yes.
really, really interesting to understand how you're here to make decisions because
Yes.
many of us are, there's five types and in the world, 78% of us are generators, whether it's manifesting generators or pure
Mm.
generators.
Hmm.
And so it's that hustle mentality and
Mm-hmm.
that just do it mentality. And not
Mm-hmm.
everyone is meant to just do it. And not everyone is meant to burn the midnight oil. And so a lot of our people end up burnt out because there is a way to flow that
Yes.
doesn't have to be my way. And you could still be very successful.
Oh, girl, just when I first started experimenting or learning about human design, it made so much sense. And this is like within the year. And when I sat in on the workshop that you did, I mean, it was just phenomenal. First of all, you break it down excellently. I mean, and like in this short segment, I mean, you have broken that thing down. I feel like I know more about it. It's more with more clarity now than even just, what I've studied and learned. So, audience, if you got all that, make sure you drop in comments that, okay, you're tracking or ask questions. But
Yeah.
it's so powerful because when I started learning about that and I learned that I'm a generator, it was like the light bulb went off. Everything made so much sense. It was like the final pieces to connecting the dots, of my life journey, and it also helped me to shed some things, right? Some things that, and some energies or places where I was directing energy when I should just sit back, right? And attract as opposed to chasing. And so I assume you work with your folks, any clients that come your way on things like that, helping them understand who they are, what they were meant for, and like in addition to the healing, but just what to release and what to embrace, would you say?
Absolutely. So to me, the nervous system, we have to treat it with a white glove. It makes more sense for us to be much more careful. So I don't do nervous system group work. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in it. I
Yeah.
think that in order for someone to transform their trauma, they need to have safety and
Yes.
connection.
Yes.
And so I don't do group work that way. It just it doesn't feel integral to who I am, and I'm here to serve.
Yes.
So it feels more productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am intense in the way that I approach this because I refuse to do the 50-minute every other week therapy session.
Yeah.
It drives me bonkers. And so I actually meet whether it's weekly or every 2 weeks with my people, but we work for 2 hours because
Mhm.
you're getting warmed up. By that 50-minute
Yes.
mark, someone decides to just release and let go.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people will be like, 2 hours, that's a lot. And then all of a sudden, it's not even
Girl,
enough.
it goes so quickly because I do like an hour and a half and usually goes nearer to 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to be the person to break that stigma of 50 minutes or
Yes.
an hour every other week. It drives me bonkers. It's like, how, no
Yes.
wonder it takes us so long to, move our
Yeah.
way through transformation and therapy because they're not
Right.
even taking notes.
No. It's a cookie cutter model that
Oh,
everybody has bought
completely,
into. Yeah.
completely. And the coaching industry has followed through that.
Yes. It has.
And I refuse to follow any rules. It is my business. I get to do what I want. And my purpose is to allow people to feel complete because through that completion, they
Yes.
can actually step into the scary parts of their story. And
Mm.
so through my human design, my life and soul purpose is the cross of the Sphinx, the right angle cross of the Sphinx, which means it's more of my own karmic stuff.
Yes.
And it is helping people change the narrative of their story through the heart.
Mm.
And
Yes.
so I had already been HeartMath certified when I started digging into that life and soul purpose. And I was just like, because your life and soul purpose isn't something that, that's a target. If you're
Yeah.
in alignment in your life, you're going
Yes.
to wake up and you're going to go, oh, look at that. I'm here.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow. Oh, this is such good stuff. Excellent conversation and just, shining a light on so much that we don't talk about because we think it's woo woo or we're just not traveling in those circles because we're stuck in, like you said, that the colonialized patterns or, the socialized patterns of, and we're put on these paths and we're following them until life happens and we hit that wall and then we have to figure out how to pivot. but there's so much baggage all the way back to ancestral that we're carrying, which makes it heavier, scarier, all of that stuff. So I love, love, love what you do, girl, and how you bring it all together. So obviously you do business in a very different way as I do, and my husband and I do, and I love that. And you're about serving, so like if someone comes to you expecting like a traditional way of business, or like you said, the whole 50 minutes and that whole thing, how do you set your boundaries? Because I'm sure there are some women watching this that or listening to it in the podcast form, who struggle with setting those boundaries and staying aligned and being true to who they are.
I think it takes practice, because we have developed these patterns, and I talk a lot about the brain, right? The number one job of the brain is to keep you safe.
Yes.
So when you continue to do what you've always done, you're not going to get the results you're hoping for, right?
Right.
And so it is an invitation and a permission slip to do things different. And if you're one of those people that wants to remain traditional, then, I may not be your person. I may not be your person, but when you look at the women that I have worked with and helped, it's all there. I mean, the transformation happens, but it takes consistency and it takes commitment. And I, again, as a generator, I'm about the end result. I'm about hitting that target. And my target really is to help you shift your baseline by at least 2 points, if not more. So I actually get you a biofeedback sensor to track your nervous system live. And that is how I keep track of you. And that is how I know that stuff is moving.
Oh, wow. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. So for folks who might be interested in learning about their human design, and just more about all of this, we'll have your information in the show notes so they can reach out to you. What's a place, do you have a specific program where that you want, that's best for them to enter into, or what you do, it's all encompassing, it sounds like.
I like to make it digestible pieces for people. So right now I am actually addressing the nervous system from the hormone space. That's a big deal for me, because it's a big symptom of a dysregulated nervous system. And by hormones, I don't just mean like progesterone, estrogen. I'm talking about, the cortisol. I'm talking about our thyroid. I'm talking, like all of these other pieces that we don't put together. Right. And again, so because I go with the body, this is where I'm at in this moment. So just giving people an opportunity to understand their human body, their 3D body, and the potential of healing it through, metabolic function versus dysfunction. So there are many places for them to start. I love my website as like just the point of entry, because that is where they can download their human design. Right. And then when they download their human design, there's a few free offers there that they can take advantage of. There's, reports that I've created. A lot of intention has been put into the creation of these things for the public. So yeah, that's a good place for them to start. My blogs are there.
Awesome. Like, Akary, I don't know where time goes, but I am so looking forward to our candid conversation where we can deep dive into all this, and I want to get to HeartMath and all that good stuff. I mean, this has been so inspiring and informative, right? And even for me, kind of being fairly new to this, I just had all kind of aha moments and light bulbs going. So folks, drop in comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Drop in comments your aha moments or what has really stuck with you, or any other questions, and we'll be sure to make sure Akary gets them. We'll also again have in the show notes how to reach out to her, how to get to her website, and start at those entry points she just mentioned. Akary, I can't thank you enough for being our spotlight today. I want to make sure you have the opportunity for any closing words, any advice, or just whatever your soul feels led to say at this point.
Yes. So because the number one job of the brain is to keep you safe, I just want you to tap into your heart. I have renamed her She Who Knows It All. So all you have to do is just connect to her, feel her heartbeat. In those moments of despair, take that pause by just holding on to her. It's so amazing, the downloads, the information that just comes through by stopping the monkey brain from taking over and just pausing with your heart.
Wow, that is so good. Just pausing, just stop and just be. Oh, I love it. And I love the fact you've renamed her. I'm a girl, I'm gonna do that.
She who knows it all.
She who knows it all. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. This is such good stuff. Thank you so much for being here, Akary. Folks, I want you to learn more, connect with Akary Busto from our YouTube channel right here at Defining Paths Online through your preferred podcast listening experience. And before we wrap, I'd like to thank my amazing dream team, led by my husband, for their unwavering support to just bring quality conversations and spotlights like this to you that are life-giving, inspiring, and life-changing. So be sure to find out more about our solutions at DP. Be sure to learn more about Akary, what she has going on. And just in closing, Faithful, my question, I want to give you a call to action. And it comes in the form of a question. So what are you waiting for, right? You have a choice to make. If you're feeling that soul summons, a soul call, something in you stirring, trying to wake you up, I can guarantee you, Akary and I are telling you to face and embrace those fears, right? Make it your ally and move into action. Life is way too short. It's time to just define your own path, right? Into that purpose-driven, soul-led business ownership. Whatever your calling is, trust it. Trust yourself, right? Name your heart. Speak to your heart, right? Start that healing process. We're to help you. We're here to help you navigate those waters of your life and put you back in business. And we are your safe havens. We are your sanctuaries. We don't bring you anyone to this show who is not about serving and helping to bring the light and life back into your life or business. So we're called to committed to help you find and follow your soul purpose, to build your success on that firm foundation. So all you have to do is plug in, reach out. Again, I'm DocV, the Pivot Maestro, and your corner woman right here on Define Your Path podcast. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, please share, and set those notifications and stay plugged in. And remember always to be true to you and define your path in mind, body, soul, and business. Akary, thank you so much, sis, for being here. I look forward to having a candid conversation with you here soon. And we'll see all of you on our next episode.